Am I live? I'm live. Am I live? I think so. My bad. Been a busy couple days in battle rap. Got a lot of shit to talk about. Well, one thing that has really made shockwaves or sent shockwaves through the community. Is my audio okay? Can you hear me okay? Someone let me know in the comments. Let me wait for people to pull up. I've literally just seen, as I was going live, ARP went live as well. I have a feeling that's going to affect me. Okay, my audio is looking good. Okay. Wagwan, the plug. Yeah, we got a lot to talk about. So this is obviously, we're talking about Jimz. You've seen the thumbnail, you've seen the title. This all kind of exploded on Wednesday night. Jimz issued an apology. There was a lot of talk about it yesterday. In the early hours of this morning, sometime late last night, Jimz put out another video. Now, I've been kind of, I haven't addressed anything. I put out one tweet about it, and I've been kind of quiet all week. Not, Jimz related, just quiet, full stop. So, I thought I would, having seen this second response, come and give my perspective as to why Jimz has lost his fucking mind and needs to be held accountable for his actions. Oh God, and out of here. This is a man who clearly has no understanding of the harm that it causes, the harm and the hurt that it causes the Black community when people make jokes like that, what harm it causes to Black women when you have such misogynoir, when you've got such hatred, when you've got such anti-Black sentiment towards women. Like, he has no idea of the damage that he inflicts, and he has no idea why. He has no understanding why only 24 hours later, Black people are still upset with him. None, because he does not come from the Black experience. He has not experienced pain, and he cannot understand how he could have caused such harm that 24 hours later, people are still pissed, especially after his apology. But I was going to do a blog. I've made so many notes, and I just know it would be hours me editing. It would be a long time before I get it out. So I figured, let's just go live. And then after I say what I got to say, I can, we can talk about it. We can talk about some of the commentary and where we go from here, because I think it's very important. This is not me addressing all the latest scandal. This is addressing an important issue which has repercussions, and we need to take it somewhere. So this is, my take on that. And at the end of it, I figured we can discuss, we can see, what the general sentiment is and what next steps are from my point of view, and what the community is saying. Salute Balls Deep, salute the plug. I'm not gonna, for the minute, I'm not gonna address the comments, because I've got my little my notes that I'm kind of gonna read through. I want to really stay on track, because there's a lot of there's an important message kind of to get out here. But so Wednesday evening, this might be a long blog. Well, it's not a blog, this is a live, right? Get comfortable. Get comfortable, in the words of Coffee Brown. Get comfortable, roll up something, make yourself a tea, a drink. It's probably morning in the States. It's halfway through the day in the UK. But whatever you're doing, get comfortable. Put this on while you doing your work while you're whatever, and let's just talk about this situation. So yeah, a couple of days ago, some disgusting tweets surfaced. I'm not going to show any of Jim's tweets. They are all out there. Battle Rap Trap has a Google Docs drive, a Google Drive doc that you can go and see a lot of them on. He couldn't put them on Twitter or even on YouTube for fear of having his account taken down. That's how disgusting and anti-Black they are. There are various screenshots out there on Twitter. OTFMZ has a bunch of them as well. So if you haven't seen them already and you really want to know how bad Jim's hatred for Black people is, or at least was at that period, then they're out there. But I'm not gonna disseminate them any further. I'm going to talk about them. I don't know who Jim's pissed off. I don't know how these tweets came to light. I don't know what the first origin was, but I know what Jim's first fucking reaction to them was. I know what the first reaction was. And we're going to talk about how his reaction changed as public opinion sort of came to the forefront. Now, how sorry is Jim's for these disgusting tweets? Like I say, I think we all know. I think we know what what we're talking about, but how sorry is he for them? Now we're going to look at Jim's first reaction to the tweets. Now, I don't know if this is how it all emerged, if Jim's just decided all of a sudden to rehash a tweet, to retweet something from 2013, or if his tweets were coming to light and his reaction to that was, oh, let me share one of them and let you see how funny I was back then. He changes his tune later, but his first response is to kiki about it. Ha ha ha, he says. Hell is harsh. Now let's look at the tweet that he sent in March 2013 was, Hispanic women who like Black men should be sentenced to life in hell. Wow. And then he says, hell is harsh. Man, you heathens in my 03 tweets. But word, 03 was big for Black men smashing Spanish chicks. I was a hater. Hater, he says. He called himself a hater. And he says it was 03. He says it was 2003, 20 years ago, when it was 10 years ago. It was 2013, when Jimz was in his 20s. He was in his 20s. He was grown. And around this period, Jimz was entering battle rap. Let's not forget this. He was entering battle rap at the time. And then his second tweet is, racist jokes have always been funny since the dawn of comedy. Does it make you a racist? Sure, to the ones only picking one race they choosing to. Pull up my Asian, Indian, white, Mexican tweets too, though. Y'all are so dirty. Have fun. So it's only racist if you're racist towards one ethnicity, one race, one group of people. It's not racist if you're racist towards anyone. And it's all jokes. It's all jokes. And Jim's so thinks it's all jokes that he just keeps it pushing and moves on. This is like minutes later, an hour later or something. The office is timeless. Ha, 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 ha. And then he goes on to make, this is, what she said, ha. He goes on to just carry on about his day. He's seen the exposure. He's seen, okay, all my old racist jokes are resurfacing. But let me just carry on about my day and tweet about the office, because I've explained it was racist jokes. And it's not racist if I'm gutting at everybody. Bearing in mind, we've seen some real anti-Black sentiment from a Puerto Rican Greek man who profits from Black culture and has done for the last 10 years. But it's not racist and it's funny. So that was his first response. Then the shit hit the fan, and he must have realized that people were reacting and that he wouldn't be able to sweep it under the rug, unlike his ableist and his homophobic tweets, because he was disparaging the very community that he profits from, where he makes his money. Is not gonna, you can't just, you can't just brush this away. Not that you should have been able, or people should have brushed away his tweets about depression or his homophobic tweets. But now this, you are directly talking about the community where you make your money. So he puts out an apology video, a video that he's now deleted, a video that has now been deleted and replaced with another one, which is kind of what prompted this video. So the first apology, I think OTFMZ have a good portion of it up. So if you want to see his pitiful, narcissistic first apology, which comes straight out of the racist playbook, where he made himself the victim. If you want to go and have a look at that, then I think a lot of it is on OTFMZ. But in this apology, he he doesn't call himself a racist. He calls himself a jealous, insecure little bitch. And he says, is his explanation for his racist jokes. And he says it was situations that made him project negative energy because of other situations that he went through. And basically, he then throws back to his depression is not real tweets. And he tries to clear that up. He tries to throw that in as an excuse and clear that up at the same time. And he says basically, so he does all of this again while making himself the victim. He's centering himself as the victim in all of this, and rather than the person who did the wrongdoing. He talks about the fact that or how he felt. He talks about how he felt watching his aunt struggle with depression whilst he was trying to fight the fact it wasn't real. This caused real turmoil for him. This is a turmoil period of his life when he was in turmoil. And then he goes on to the specific thing which led to the tweets, or the specific thing that he says this time that led to the tweets, because it changes. This time in this apology, the first thing he says is that he did it, basically a girl broke his heart. His girlfriend at the time left him, broke his heart, and then moved on to a black man. Black man didn't do anything with him. There's no suggestion that there was cheating, whatever the reason, not that those would be qualifiers, but his girlfriend left him, hooks up with a black man. He has to see happy girlfriend, happy black man riding around town. Boo-hoo, poor Jimz. Or boo-hoo, poor Jimz. Then he says, basically, that inspired so much anger in him. He hated the player and the game. He used that analogy, hate the player, not the game, and saying he hated the player and the game because of this guy. And he's saying that person because of that guy, he then projected hatred towards the black race because he handled it like a hoe, he's saying. Because of this one situation that he handled badly, he let off 3 years of tweets where he displayed distinct hatred towards black people because his girl left him, and then at some point later got happy with a black man. We'll talk about why that's super troubling in a minute. But this is what he did. This is what he did basically. He then also tries to clear up the very obvious hatred that he displays towards black women, a very telling hatred. I don't know if a little black girl made you piss your pants when you were in kindergarten or something, but the feelings you harbor towards black women are specific, and there's something there. But anyway, he clears this up by saying he displayed this obvious misogynoir because he also knew the man's sister. He knew the man, the guy was local, you know, the man, the black man who moved on with the woman that broke his heart. He knew her sister. And because he knew the man's sister, he started projecting hate towards black women. Yes, it is as fucking stupid as it sounds. The man had a sister. So now I'm going to act like I hate black women because the man has a sister and I know the sister vaguely. She's around town. He basically is saying he reduced his feelings towards an entire race of people based on how he felt about one person. Now, black people, does that sound familiar? Does that sound like fucking racism 101? Taking a negative experience with what, amongst, you know, all the other things that racism encompasses, but taking a negative experience with one person and projecting that on the whole race. This person, I had a bad experience with this person. Not that the man did him anything wrong. So now all these people are bad. He then goes back to self-victimization, talking about how he was fat, he was overweight, he was broke, his living situation, all these things made him hate himself so badly. He says he acknowledges that maybe he was grown enough to know better, but he wanted to spew that shit, stick a pin in that, because he contradicts this later. He says, maybe I was grown enough to know better, but I wanted to spew that shit at the time because it made him feel better. He used anti-black racism to make him feel better about himself. Now, he then goes on to say those tweets, the fact that those tweets exist and his kids may see them, hurt him more than anything else, and getting knocked out on stage and being embarrassed, whatever. This is what he says. The fact that they are out there existing in the time since that he's had children, that's the thing that embarrasses him most, that hurts him most. Yet these tweets were deleted last fucking night or the night before. Like, these tweets that hurt him so much, like, you feel like if Jimz could go around and wave the Men in Black like memory eraser to everyone who ever saw him get knocked out by Jimz. And there's another video going around, actually, I meant to, maybe I'll find it, of Jimz getting knocked out randomly by a man who happens to be black. Maybe, you know, suggesting maybe that's where his hatred comes from. But he's saying, you know, that's the thing that hurts me most. Yet he could have deleted them at any point in the 10 years since. It was a 3-year period. All you got to do, go and type black in there. Go and type the N word with the hard R. Go and type women. Like, there's a few keywords, you know, give yourself an hour and you can save your kids from that hurt. You can save yourself from that hurt that you say is going to cause your kids, but you never, ever did that. You never did that. He says that you deserve the truth. Y'all deserve the truth. Bearing in mind, at this point in his apology, we deserve the truth, but we don't yet deserve a sorry. There's no sorry yet. There's no apology. He spent all this time making himself the victim, making excuses, which he's later going to contradict, to say that we deserve the truth, but no apology, no acknowledgement of the amount of hurt, anger, frustration, confusion, disappointment that the Black people who have supported him, who have been friends with him throughout the years, put fucking money in his pockets. No acknowledgement yet of any of that. Yet we deserve the truth. No, fuck you, Jimz. He says, he says, none of these excuse, none of, oh no, this is me. Sorry, this is my note. None of these excuse the disgusting anti-Black racism. Nothing excuses it. He said nothing so far to justify it. A 3-year period where he spewed hate towards Black people, specifically Black women. But he says, I'm not that person anymore, and I'm ashamed of myself, and I'm sorry. And to anybody I offended, he takes this deep, heartfelt, emotional pause, and he looks off camera. I can almost hear the fucking violins playing. And he says then, I'm sorry to any and everybody who I offended. He says he said disgusting things to everybody, all races, all groups. It wasn't just Black people. He doesn't focus on the community where he's made a living, where he's profited from, where he's been supported and loved and uplifted. He doesn't specifically apologize to the people that he's offended. He says, I said shit about everyone, I said shit about everybody. And he says he did that because he was in a blender of self-hate. He was in a blender of self-hate. Poor Diddums. And the thing is, it's like, Jimz, you feel like you're so clever and so articulate and so able to buzzword your way out of this, that you don't realize that you've kind of just rubbish, like you've cast aside the reason. You're there saying, at the time I was fat and depressed and I spewed hate to everybody. I was just a nasty person saying disgusting things to all racial groups because he was in this blender of negativity. But you've just told us it was specifically from the situation where a black man moved on with the woman who broke your heart. It can't be both. It can't be both. Either there was a specifics. So what if there was Mexican hate and Chinese hate and hatred towards, like, so did another girlfriend move on with a gay man, a gay Mexican man with depression? Like, it can't be both. You can't have it both ways. You've just given us a very specific reason, and now you've said, nah, it's just because I was in a bad place in the blender of self-hate, whatever that is. Does anyone, like, the thing is, and then yeah, he goes on, he adds more self-pity. It's not easy for me to make this apology. It's not easy for him to make this apology, as though it's easy for the Black people who have stood behind you cheering, who have championed you, who have supported you, as though it's fucking easy for them to see your tweets. But it's not easy for Jimz to make that video. It's not easy. It was easy for him to delete it, though. A little while later, it was easy for him to delete it and come back with a fuck you video. That was easy. Wasn't easy to make that video, though. You know why? Because he didn't mean it. That wasn't him being real. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. That's not the video he wanted to make. This staring into the distance, I've grown, protect my peace, don't judge me on the man that I was, judge me on the man that I am. That wasn't him. But he still wants us to feel sorry for him because he hasn't deleted it yet. He calls himself a little bitch, and he wants us to know how hard it was for him to call himself a little bitch. It shouldn't be difficult when you've seen that you've spewed so much hatred, that you've caused so harm to so many people, that you took the photograph of a beautiful black baby and compared it to a dog, to an animal, to something that is not human. You compared a black baby to a non-human. That wasn't that it's not easy for you. It's not easy for you, Jimz. Anyway, it's not easy for you to call yourself a little bitch, knowing that that's what you did. It should be fucking simple. It should be real easy. It should roll off your mouth with the tears rolling down your eyes. You should be choked up, choked up, choked up. I said that about a black baby specifically. Isn't the fact that you said that about a baby is awful, but specifically, you made the baby's blackness, you took the baby's blackness and likened it to a non-human. Yet it's difficult for you to call yourself a little bitch. That's because you don't understand. You don't understand. And that's why it's a problem for Jimz to be here right now, because he don't get it. You don't fucking get it. That's a problem. That's a problem for anyone involved in, participating in, contributing to, even consuming Black culture. It's a problem, Jimz. It's a big problem. And then he says at the end, we all fuck up though. Players fuck up, right? He deletes that video. He deletes that video. And at some point last night, and bear with me. Bear with me. I need this is a lot. This is a lot, man. This is a lot. If my lighter gives out on me right now. So his second video, after he's deleted the first one, his second video is raging, self-serving, angry Jimz. Jimz angry that he's being picked on. He's being picked on again. Classic racist 101, straight out the fucking white supremacy playbook. This is. He takes it to the other end of the spectrum. Bearing in mind, this video comes in less than 24 hours. Less than 24 hours after people, you know, have seen some 24 hours, the story, the kind of the tweets broke overnight, right? So a lot of people didn't see that shit till yesterday. By yesterday, yesterday evening, Jimz is on, are you lot still on this shit? You're still going on about this shit. You haven't got over this yet. So he's furious. He's furious in this blog. He's furious that people are hurt and upset that you've got this Puerto Rican Greek man. Puerto Rican, probably descended of somewhere African descent there in his ancestry. There's some self-hatred in there as well, as the little girl who made you piss yourself in kindergarten. But less than 24 hours, he's furious that people don't want him profiting from Black culture. And he basically says he wasn't keeping it 100. Not he literally says he wasn't keeping it 100 in the first blog. So he opens this one with, let's keep it real. Let's keep it real. He says he jumped on this immediately, unlike other people, and then proceeds to throw other people under the bus for not addressing their transgressions, their transgressions immediately. And he does this while, you know, making all the Jimz voices. This is not the serious, somber, apologetic tone that he exhibited in the other video. This is, I've had a fucking enough of you niggas. This is what that is. I had enough of you niggas. You lot still going on about this shit. So he says he didn't go the simple route. And he says he went the route that he did not want to go. He did not want to make that first apology video. He went on natural instinct. His natural instinct, hear this. Jim, stop fucking telling on yourself. Stop telling on yourself. He says his natural instinct was to cater to the supporters, to cater to the people who have uplifted, and say he understands what it is to make mistakes and to feel mistakes and to go against the people who like to remind you of who you were and not who you are today. And this is all said in a very different tone to the first video, which lets us know, and the first video that he didn't want to make. This is him keeping it 100, keeping it real. This was his first instinct, he says, to be angry, to be vindictive, and to have zero accountability. Zero accountability. I'm going to play a little segment actually, because I feel like I can't do it justice. Like I can't. This is the only segment I'm going to play. Hold on. Bear with me. It's the only segment I'm going to play. It's about a minute. But I feel like it's needed. It's most definitely needed. Hold on. Let me get my timestamp. Okay. Brace yourselves. I feel like this should come with a trigger warning. So I really wanted to give the people. Oh, my bad. I listened to everything at speed. In fact, hold on. I want to make sure people can hear this. Let me know. Someone let me know. I feel like I've helped. I feel like I know. I've helped tons of people. Tons of them, from battle rappers to bloggers to fans. I have DMs for days, past years of thanking me for my motivation and what I've given to them. So I say all that shit to say this. It's not, I wanted to give y'all the real insight because I feel like y'all deserve that. Like, yo, listen, let me be forced to take my mind 10 years back and say this. Oh, it was 3 years. 3 years. What are you talking about? Because I said Susur's fan base. So three years after the 10 years. So 10, 9, 8, 7. I said something about Susur fan base. Oh my God. He's a racist because racist. Y'all funny with that. Let me get into this before I'm jumping all around, but now I just let y'all do too much. He's a racist because racist. Y'all funny with that. Let me get into this before I'm jumping all around, but now I just let y'all do too much, and it ain't everybody. It's just like, who wants to? Y'all want to hold me over the fire because of what? Because it's something from 10 years ago. 10 years ago. Y'all want to say, y'all want to believe that that's who I am? Yeah, I fucked up. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, that shit was stupid. At the time, I didn't think none of that because it was 10 fucking years ago. I'm muted. Damn. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Where was I? Fuck's sake. Where was I? It had to happen at some point, right? I can't get through a whole stream without spending at least 30 seconds muted. But yeah, y'all are doing too much. Y'all are doing too much. You see, y'all black people who have had less than 24 hours to process his intense hatred of black people. Y'all are doing too much. The black people who have put money in my pocket, the black women who are by far the biggest supporters, spenders, vocal promoters of this culture, and will have been of Jimz as well. Those black women who were hurt, the black people who have been hurt, who have been disappointed, who have added Jim's racism onto every other fucking piece of racism, especially from the people who come in to black culture, bred up black people, yet exhibit this intense hatred of them. You see them people? Y'all are doing too much. Y'all are doing too much. I had to show you that clip because, and like, if you want to see the whole thing, like, that's just a segment of how bad it is. That's just a segment. But yeah, this is what he says. Now, he talks about, y'all are doing too much over something. He keeps going on about a mistake, something that he did, rather than talking about a 3-year period, multiple disgusting racist tweets, multiple. Y'all are doing too much over that. And he was battling at the time. I have to bring this back again. He was benefiting, immersed in black culture at the time. He was already battle rapping whilst making those tweets. Now, in this second, I can't even call this a fake apology video. In this second, in the fuck you video, because this is what it was, and he goes on to say that, which is why it's quoted in quote marks in my title. He contradicts himself. He contradicts the reason why he was being outwardly racist and anti-black. And he says he was tweeting at this time when, little Jimz, little Narcissus, I'm going to call him Narcissus, I'm not even going to call him Jimz anymore, little Narcissus at this time was tweeting for shock value. That's why he made those tweets, because he was tweeting for shock value at this time. And then he says he didn't know any better because it was 10 years ago, he says. Now, in the first video where he wasn't being real, he wasn't keeping it 100 and it went against his natural instincts. In that video, he said he did know better, but it made him feel better to tweet like that. Yeah, maybe I did know better at the time, but it made me feel better. And now he's saying 10 years ago, when he was in his mid-20s, he didn't know any better. And then he says, and then he gives us the reason why. Again, he spent ages giving us self-pity, giving us anger, giving us fuck yous, and says, I'm sorry because of how it made certain people feel. He says, I'm sorry because it made certain people look at him a different way. Like, he's talking about people that checks for him, people that cares for him. And like the way he says it is so defiant. This is not an apology. If you put your kid in timeout and they apologize to you, they are not moving. If they give you this defiant apology, this is, listen to the words he's saying and how he's saying them. Please show me like where the remorse is. Let's we're going to do another clip. It's a very brief one.
Doing some stupid shit 10 years ago. Now I am sorry, right? Because it made people,
Right?
certain people look at me in a different way. But you know what I gotta say to those people? I'm sorry you feel that way. A different way. But you know what I gotta say to those people? I'm sorry you feel that way. Look at me in a different way. But you know what I gotta say to those people? I'm sorry you feel that way.
Excuse me? I'm sorry you feel that way. Are you though? Are you, Jimz? One more time.
Look at me in a different way. But you know what I gotta say to those people? I'm sorry you feel that way.
Now, it doesn't sound like little Narcissus is sorry at all. Like, how you going to be so hostile in your apology? If you're sorry, why do you seem so angry while you're saying it? Why do you see, like, you could have been saying anything else in that. Look at your body language. I'm sorry you feel that way. Look at the hostility. Do you know that you're apologizing to the Black people that you have profited from to the people in Black culture that you have occupied, that have been felt let down, disappointed, disgusted by the intense hatred you felt? I'm sorry you feel that way. And he goes on to say he's not going to feel a way about people wanting to cancel him because he's grown from it. He's grown from it. He's a father, he's successful, he's doing this, blah, 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 blah. Basically, he's living good. So I don't care about the people who want to cancel him. The people that are outraged right now, he's saying, I don't even care because I'm living good. Like, it's another F you. Then he goes on another rant. The whole thing is a rant. Like, he's got spit flying. He's angry. He's frustrated. And he goes on about he's not the only person to ever make a mistake. Of course you're not. Of course you're not. But this Narcissus, little Narcissus, this is the mistake that we're talking about. This is the mistake that you must be held accountable for. These are not your tweets. You cannot all lives matter your way out of this situation by saying other people make mistakes too. And then he goes back to self-victimization and again contradicts what he said earlier. He talks about his I mentioned depression and now suddenly the whole world's depressed. I mentioned straight pride and now everybody's pro-gay. Like, I've put blood, sweat and tears into this. I had to work for everything I've got because I'm Hispanic. And then he acknowledges that he's Puerto Rican and Greek. And then he goes on to say that he talks about, the racism that he experiences as someone who is Hispanic, and juxtapose it with, but I say some harsh, whack-ass tweets, he calls them, and now I'm a racist white boy. Yeah. Basically. But again, he's kind of contradicting what he said before. And he's making excuses. Everybody did this. Like, it's not just Black people. I did it again, everybody. And then he does everyone's picking on me. Like, everybody's picking on me. When I talked about depression, now the whole world's depressed. When I talked about gay pride, everyone's pro-gay. When I talked about Black people, What? When I talked about black people, what? Suddenly everyone is black, has experience. Right? What are you trying to say there, Jimz? What's the connection? He he brings up She'd Happens, complete joker, made a joke out of this situation, and he brings it up and he's irate. He called She'd a clown. Like, the irony in this. Jimz does some racist shit, calls it a joke. Jim's Narcissus, little Narcissus, spews racism for 3 years and gets to call it racist jokes. She'd makes a joke out of little Narcissus, and now you're going in on She'd. Can't you take a joke, Narcissus? Like, surely someone from the community that you spent 3 years bashing and more than 10 years profiting from is entitled to make a joke out of this. If you think you should be forgiven for your little jokes, surely, no? And then he goes on to say, basically, not basically, literally, F you, how about that? You guys don't want to accept the change. You don't want to accept that I've grown. You don't want to accept that I'm over here protecting my peace. It was 10 years ago. Like, look at yourselves. Look into your own backgrounds. Look in your own tweets. Check your own jackets. Go have a drink, because I ain't going nowhere. I'm not going to be chased out of nothing. I'm here to stay. If I want to drop a blog tomorrow, I'm going to drop my blog, he says. And that's basically the blog. Again, him acting like it's one mistake rather than a sustained pattern of a sustained pattern of behavior displayed over a period for at least 3 years, and that is just what he put online. God knows what he was out here in the world doing. God knows the looks a poor little black girl was getting when Jimz was standing next to her in the queue at a grocery store. God knows if he's kikiing with his little Latina friend on the timeline, God knows what he's saying after leaving a battle rap event around all these, because he's using the hard R. He's on there using the hard R as well on Twitter, dropping the N word with the hard R. God knows what he's saying when he's coming back from these events with all these N words with the hard R. Now, he keeps talking about 10 years ago, you're making a fuss 10 years ago. Jimz never went back and deleted these tweets. These tweets were there until he shut his page down, went private, and deleted as much of it as he could 24 hours ago. The tweets that he's embarrassed for his children to see. I don't know how old his kids are, but they're of reading age. They've been existing all this time, and Jimz hasn't once thought about that 3-year period where he spewed absolute venom. The thing that hurts him most. The thing that hurts him most in life. Easily fixed. I can get rid of these before my kids even know what an internet is. But no, they stayed up there. He talks about growing and learning, but at no point in this growing and learning journey did he think, let me go and remove the vile hatred that I've spewed over the years. Like, he's grown and learned. When was the turning point? Because it looks to me like it hasn't happened yet. And at best guess, like, it looks to me like maybe the turning point is some point in the future when you acknowledge the harm and hurt. Tweets like that. It's not the tweets. It's the state of mind. It's the state of mind. That state of mind, the damage that does, once you acknowledge that, I feel like that will be the turning point, because it hasn't happened yet. When did you realize those jokes aren't funny? Those jokes, you called them racist jokes. There's a hell of a lot more other than just jokes. When you're comparing a beautiful Black child to a non-human, when did you realize that that wasn't humorous? Was it when you were hanging around Black people? Because you said you were at the time, and you didn't cut off, you gave yourself props for this, you didn't cut off none of your Black friends while you were spewing anti-Black venom. You didn't learn then. You didn't learn when you were eating off of Black businesses, being supported by Black fans. Why didn't the penny drop at that time? And the thing is, we know that the penny didn't drop because what was his first reaction? What was Jim's first reaction? Ha ha ha, hell is harsh. Man, y'all heathens in my old tweets. Word, 03 was big for Black men smashing Spanish chicks. How problematic is that? I can say that at this time because 03, it wasn't 03, was big for Black men smashing Spanish chicks. Do you know how much racism occurred because of the fear of white men, of white women, white men's fear of white women being taken by Black men? Do you know how much racism? Do you know how many Black men have been, Black boys, Black women? Do you know how many Black people have lost their lives or been beaten to within an inch of it, been lynched, been victimized because of white men's fear of Black men integrating with white women? And that is your first response to make that joke. This is how we know there's no learning and growing. You don't understand the Black experience to think a joke like that is funny, to think saying it's okay, right? Because at that time, like, there were a lot of Black men coming on to Dominican women. So it was okay to want Spanish women to burn in internal damnation because they were getting Black dick. Like, that statement is not out of place by a fucking 16th century or 17th century slave owner. Narcissus, little Narcissus. You have not learned. You have not grown. You don't get it. That was your first response. The most racist response ever. And that was your reaction. Yet you're now like, get over it, because 10 years ago, given all the scandals over the years, let's think, since 2013, how many celebrities, how many people of note have had their past racism, sexism, homophobia, misogynoir dragged up on social media? How many people have had that come up? And at no point, while Jimz is in the blender of Black culture, at no point does Narcissus own disgusting past history of racism come across his little narcissistic mind. At no point, while Black people are putting money in his pocket, does it occur to him, oh shit, when I was saying those things, that was so wrong. That was so harmful. No, because he's still He still thinks it's jokes. He still thinks it's jokes. We saw his first reaction. This was his second. Racist jokes have always been funny since the dawn of comedy. Does it make you a racist? Sure, but only to the ones picking one race. I was racist to everybody. Everybody got my racism. Everybody got it. Asians, white, Mexicans, Indians, everyone got it. Come on, man. I'm equal opportunities racist out here. Why are you getting at me like this? That was the second response. Like, so was there never any awakening? Was there no eureka moment? Up until 2 days ago, those jokes were acceptable to him. So acceptable, you know. Now they're the thing that hurts him most in this world is that his kids will see them, yet they stayed on your timeline for 10 years. It was for a period of 3 years. It's not like he sent one tweet here and one tweet there. That would be bad enough. There is a barrage of racism over a 3-year period, and at no point did Jimz have an awakening that I used to be an outrageous fucking racist, and let me go and scrub this so that people that I love now cannot be harmed. People that are uplifting me, putting money in my pockets, allowing me to buy things for my children who I care about. At no point did it occur to him, let me get rid of those. His first thing was to go and retweet a joke about Spanish women being damned to eternity. Like, talk about racist apologism 101. And like, Jim's narcissist can understand racism towards Latin people, towards his, I don't know the correct, Latin people, towards, there's a Vlad interview from 2016 where he's addressing that. Is it just, if this is like a couple of years after he went on his whole anti-Black 3-year period, he's acknowledging the racism that Spanish origin battle rappers get in the community, yet he still didn't reflect on his own racism. He made one self-serving, soft lens, soft lighting apology and deleted it and came back on crack. He came back on crack. There was very little space. There was no space, in fact, for the harm that he has caused, for the damage, for the people that have been supporting him and cheering him. No understanding of how those people feel, specifically those women feel, to see that level of hatred and racism coming from one of their own, someone in the community, the battle rap community. No understanding of that at all whatsoever. And he has no understanding. He has no idea of the damage that he's caused because he doesn't understand, he cannot relate to, and he has never suffered the pain of the Black experience. He takes back his first apology because he can't understand the backlash. He can't understand the need to protect Black women from men like him, to protect the Black community from such anti-Black hatred. He doesn't understand that. At no point in the video, in the 2 videos, the sorry excuse for excuses, apart from when he tries to make the limpest dick excuse I've ever heard in my life for attacking Black women. At no point does he address his very specific hatred towards Black women. And if you've seen, and I'm sure most people watching this have seen his tweets. Now, this is something we define as misogynoir. I'm gonna put this up here, and I'm gonna put this up here and talk about the term misogynoir, which was a term coined by, oh my goodness, why haven't I got the lady's name now? I'll get it. And it's a term created to describe anti-Black racist misogynies experienced specifically by Black women, particularly in US visual and digital culture. It's not simply racism that Black women counter, nor is it the misogyny Black women negotiate. It describes the uniquely co-constitutive racialized and sexist violence that befalls Black women as a result of their simultaneous and interlocking oppression at the intersection of racial and gender marginalization. It's something you should definitely take a look into, and it's something that is mainly perpetuated in culture. When it's perpetuated in Black culture, it cuts even deeper. And this is what Jimz is doing. This is the damage. It's something specifically targeted towards Black women as something gritty, as something other, hypersexualizing them. And this is exactly, if you're looking at Jim's tweets, if you know, like, go and read about, this is the specific definition, and it causes a specific harm towards Black women. I pulled this up as well because I'm calling Jim's Narcissus. Tell me if you, I used to be a big reader of Greek mythology, and I wanted a pithy nickname for Jimz. I didn't want to call him by his name throughout the whole video. I wanted something to disparage him whilst I was talking that may not be mature. It may not be grown up. I don't care. I am, as a Black woman, I know some of you Americans see my hair and don't acknowledge the fact that I'm a Black woman. I'm a mixed Black woman with a Black father from the Black experience, who feels deeply about issues like this and was deeply hurt by Jim's tweets. And I am not, yes, I'm a mixed Black woman. I do not experience racism in the way that my darker skinned Black sisters, literal sisters, relatives, and just Black women, darker skinned Black women in general do. I was deeply hurt that there are figures like this benefiting from Black culture. And yes, it's 10 years ago. Look at Jim's response. Look at what he's saying in 2023. Jim's does not get it. And this was my throwback to Greek mythology. Narcissus is a character in Greek mythology who dies by a pool, gazing at his own reflection that he falls in love with. He has no concern about anything around him, nor does he eat or sleep. He takes his last dying breath by himself and dies by the image that he will have, that he will never have, but so badly desires. Jimz is staring at himself in all of this. He is the victim. He was in a bad place 10 years ago, so he was racist. And now he's grown and changed, and you all are doing way too much. You clowns are doing way too much because he's changed, and you're judging him by the man that he used to be, not by the man that he is, the man that thinks this is racist jokes. So yeah, Narcissus seemed appropriate to me. I wouldn't mind if if Narcissus metaphorically was to die in a pool gazing at his own reflection, unclear of why his channel has been cancelled, why he's not supported, and why people don't want to fuck with him anymore. I think if Jimz is not going to show any understanding of the culture he inhibits and profits from, he should not be in it. He hasn't learned. He hasn't grown. If he had, those tweets would have been deleted. Let's say he didn't delete those tweets because he kind of forgot that whole intense 3-year period in his life. But he's learned and grown, right? His first response would not be to make a joke about something which has countless Black people killed, maimed, lynched, abused, tortured, and victimized over centuries. That wouldn't be your go-to, and you wouldn't delete the apology and come back with a fuck you if you had learned and grown. He would understand the venom towards him, why people are being calling for his cancellation. Even if he didn't agree, he would understand it. He wouldn't have to lie. He wouldn't have to contradict himself. He wouldn't have to center the apology around himself as though he's the victim. And he certainly wouldn't have come back on crack, deleting the first apology video and coming back with a fuck you. It's giving slavery was a long time ago. Get over it. Get over it. It was 10 years ago. Y'all are doing too much now. It's been 24 hours and you're still talking about this. Get over it. It's also giving, I've never experienced racism, and I certainly don't understand anti-Black racism or misogynoir. This is Mr. Jimz, who still has up there on his banner, protect the kids, protect the kids. You put up an image of a beautiful Black baby and offered her no protection. That little baby was offered no protection when you compared her to a non-human. Where was the protecting the kids, Narcissus? Where was it? Now, it would be hard enough to move forward with Jimz. It would be difficult enough to move forward and feel comfortable, to feel safe, to feel protected in a community with Narcissus in it. If he had given the right apology, if he had said all the right things, if he had been contrite, remorseful, acknowledged the specific damage he had done, that would be difficult enough. But this is a whole other story, and it's not hard. It's not hard. Let us remember his first reaction was to bust a joke and keep it pushing. Hey, how about them Office episodes? And then when he realized people was upset, he issued the soft sell apology. And then he deleted that when he realized people are really upset and they're not getting off on this 24 hours later. And he's still only sorry. He's only sorry that the people he cares about were hurt. Some of the people that reached out to him, he's talking about these people. He hurt those people, and he's sorry that he hurt those people. Not sorry for his actions. He's not sorry for going on a 3-year hate campaign towards Black people. And he cannot see the harm and the hurt that he's caused. His narcissism and lack of understanding of the Black experience will not allow it. So what now? I'm going to have a look at the comments. There's been a ton of comments. I apologize. I haven't acknowledged any of you because I just needed to get this out. I have seen, so we're going to talk about the Jim's comments section. And also I put up a tweet yesterday My only response to this so far has been to say anyone defending Jimz should be as done out here as he is. And somebody shared, and also had this sent to me in my DMs, a since deleted tweet. Should I put it? Yeah, I should put it up. Where is it? Where is it? I haven't put it up here. A since deleted tweet from Battle Academy, who came out and said, I don't know who runs the Battle Academy account, if it's Stiz, come out and says, I personally spoke with Jimz. We had a great convo. Nobody's perfect. We all make mistakes, man. I forgive you, bro. Keep being great. Life is all about change and righting our wrongs. Y'all, that's us, by the way. We should also forgive. That tweet has since been deleted. So I'm guessing there was a little backlash there from the Battle Academy community. Let's have a little look at the replies in Jim's comment section, because they surprised me. First of all, fuck you, Unc Rob. Take a break, let it cool down. You can't be sorry and not sorry at the same time. It's not possible. You should have waited a day or three. I forgive you, though. Protect women and children. Shout out to that. Salute to you, Jimz. This is the video you should have led with. It's actually genuine. Continue to grow. Be you. Jimz, this is the perfect time to do an untold truth, a different platform, doing a deep interview, the good, the bad, and the disgustingly fucking racist anti-black venom. Would be great for the whole picture on Narcissus. Really? Really? Never apologize to them, says one. Man, everyone makes mistakes. We're not perfect. Protect your peace, champ. Stick to the plan. I respect that, bro. We all made mistakes. Are you lot out your fucking mind? This is bearing in mind the fuck you video. This is what people are saying. I'm glad. So, like, you lot need to check your parasocial relationships. You Jimz fans, you Narcissus fans, and I'm sure a portion of the people's comments, the people whose comments I just read are black. I'm sure you are. Check your parasocial relationships. Jimz is not your friend. He's not someone you know. He may be somebody whose content you admire. But that does not mean that he should not be held accountable and that you can excuse, because he has not shown any accountability. He was somewhere on accountability street, although knocking at completely the wrong door with the first video that he deleted and was not him being 100 and was not his first instinct. This second one, he says, is him keeping it real. And this is how you man are going on. This is what you man are saying. Get the fuck out of here. Thankfully, we're going to also have a look at if you want to see, I don't recommend Jimz. It also seems these videos are monetized. Now, sometimes YouTube, even if you don't monetize, I understand. Someone tell me if I'm wrong. But I understand sometimes YouTube, even if you don't monetize the videos, there will be ads on them and the ads kind of go to YouTube or something. I don't know. But these videos are monetized. If Jimz is profiting, if Narcissus is profiting from that video and the previous one, I don't know what to say about that. I don't know what to say, but I don't encourage you to go and look at those videos. There are probably versions on YouTube, and there is definitely some versions on OTFMZ. I think they have a lot of both videos on their page, but we're going to have a look at because Jim's comment section is not, that's his supporters, unfortunately. And I'm hoping to see those numbers go down as the lack of accountability increases. But yeah, there's a lot of people in the OTFMZ section, comment section, not having it, thankfully, not being satisfied with this doubling down of his racism. Yeah, man, shut your ass up. The boy is melting down. This is E Heart and B Magic. Oh, shout out Plug TV. I'm not going to read all of that. You feel your apology is enough. You've done some dumb racist shit, and now you're complaining about the black clash you were getting. You're lucky no one was angry enough to show up on your doorstep. I don't advocate violence, but I don't not advocate violence for racists. Take that diplomat shirt off. Yes. Oh, we don't have you fucked up. We know who you are. Absolutely. All that growth talk ain't going to cut it right now. Oh, so now it was shock value. This was it. Was that in my notes? This was it. So that was yet another excuse for the racism. So first it was a black man took my girl. Then it was, oh yeah, I did say that. Shock value, right? I was on Twitter at the time. It was shock value. And then it was, oh, but I was racist to everybody. And it's not racism if you're racist to everybody. Like, you a whole clown. You don't feel sorry you did it. Shout out, Nikki. This is it, right? You are a whole clown. Guess what? 10 years people ain't did that. Guess what? 10 years people ain't did that. Ain't with you either. Mad because people mad at you. Oh yeah. Harsh black. This is it, Nikki, right? Harsh black ass shit. That's what he called his 3-year spree of venom and racism, of anti-black racism and specific misogynoir. He called it harsh black ass shit. That's goofy. Hashtag Jimz Crow. That's a fact. This is a different take from the last apology. It certainly is, right? He's got a point. Anyone can change. I'm not so sure. Nah, there's a lot of who should be cancelled, to be honest, but y'all quick to go crazy on him. Stop moving the goalposts. You show me where the goalposts of a 3-year hate campaign. Please don't tell me about one tweet or about one comment or one remark. Like, show me a 3-year campaign of hate. People are fake mad. He's obviously grown and evolved by saying fuck you lot. Listen, you lot need to, man, this is it. Typical angry white Spanish man. The black people that forgive him 3,000 lashes. I don't advocate violence towards black people, but can Narcissus get 3,000 lashes for every black person that forgives him? Typical white boy meltdown, 24 hours of pushback and a few blogs, and he's ready to shoot up the school. Talk. 24 hours. Talk. This is it. It's not been and like, it was late night when that shit broke. Late night. People are seeing this on Thursday morning. By Thursday evening, Narcissus is giving it. Are you man still on that shit? Slavery was a long time ago. All lives matter. I was doing up equal opportunities racism. He keeps talking about 10 years ago as if he's only 22. My guy is as old as hell. 10 years ago, you was in your 20s, old enough to know that you were crazy and didn't care. And let's not forget this. Let's not forget this. In the first deleted video, he says, maybe I knew what I was doing, but I didn't care. Maybe I knew better, but I didn't care because it made me feel better. It made me feel better to spew that venom. So it didn't matter that I probably knew better. Now he's saying in the second one, I didn't know better because it was 10 years ago. He's not sorry for what he said. He's sorry he didn't know he was going to have a platform and didn't erase the past. This is it. And he's sorry specifically to the people who felt hurt that he cares about. Not sorry that he went on a 3-year race hate campaign. I'm surprised there's not a fucking manifesto. It's men like you that end up not shooting up the school. You go and shoot up the boat. No, not the. You go and shoot up Harlem. Like this is a campaign. Like, come on. Come on. Now, I don't know. I can't tell anybody how to act. I know how I feel. I know I'm very clear about how Jimz feels. And Narcissus ain't sorry. Narcissus is sorry he got caught. Narcissus is sorry we're still harping on about this 24 hours later. Narcissus was racist to everybody back then with his little racist jokes. Narcissus needs to get the fuck up out of here. Narcissus shouldn't spend another day profiting from Black people and Black culture. Narcissus needs to go on an intensive diversity awareness course. Narcissus needs to understand Black experience before he even tries to profit another. He needs to get over yourself. Listen to Black people. Put down the racists' playbook. Put it down because it's not serving you. Put down a crack pipe, whatever it is you're on right now. Put it down and listen to the people who created the culture that has fed you for 10 years, that has given you the platform to even have to make a fucking apology, Narcissus. How about you do that? Because until I cannot see that there is any way forward for you in this. And anybody else who doesn't see similar hasn't watched his apology videos, hasn't seen how the narrative has changed, how 24 hours ago 36 hours ago, he thought this was funny. Man, you not bringing up my old jokes. You bringing up my own jokes. And it's not racism if you target everyone. This was Jim's just a little while ago. And now he's on fuck you clowns. I'm here to stay. What are you going to do? I'm about to drop a blog. Suck my dick. That's where Jimz is at. Suck my dick with the hard R. That's where Jimz is at right now. Let me see these comments. Hey, Nikki. Yeah. Thing I don't get is that these others come in Black culture, build their style, identity, and self-esteem off of them while trying to lower the... Wait, Maxwell. You spit. The thing I don't get is that these others come in Black culture, build their style, identity. Let's not forget, Jimz was out here spitting the N-word until he was exposed. Build their style, identity, and self-esteem off of them while trying to lower the esteem of the race they're cosplaying as. Heavy. Heavy. Yet people should just get over this. Heavy. Shout out CEO and NYHD. It's been a minute. Nice to see you. Deirdre's neck. Hey, nice to see you. Shout out Diane's. Hope you're well as well. He also said people should respect him. I must have missed that. This is outrageous. This is outrageous, Nikki. Like, how does he not have any self-aware? How do you occupy Black culture fully immerse yourself in it, surround yourself with Black people, and have so little understanding of the Black experience to have so little self-awareness to how damaging that those screenshots are, how disappointed and hurt people would be. How do you spend 10 years here and you're still racist as fuck? I think he scrubbed the negative comments. Oh yeah, let's get to that. Yeah, because he once it came out, he made his Twitter private and attempted to remove. I searched Black on his timeline once he made it unprivate again, because I immediately unfollowed. I don't know why I didn't unfollow before, because Jimz is been kind of vile, and I don't like his stances on a lot of shit, or didn't previously anyway. But it takes a lot for me to unfollow someone. Something like this, my instant impulse, unfollow. And then I realized he'd made his stuff private, so I couldn't go and see what he'd been said. He made it private and went and scrubbed as much of it as he did. Something that he would have done if there had been a light bulb moment along the way. If at some point in the last 10 years it occurred to Jimz that, holy shit, I was a hell of a racist back then. If that had occurred to him then, he would have gone and got rid of them. But it didn't occur to him because it still doesn't now. It still doesn't occur to him. They were jokes, remember? Yeah, tweeting that from your business account is so wild. Sorry he got caught, basically. This is it. This is it. Balls deep. That's a wild comment. Absolutely wild comment. Nah, come on. Let's not do that. There's a difference between a joke that's centered around race and racism. It's wild that he lacks the intelligence to actually see those two things are different. And when you are a white-skinned man, you have to tread a very careful line when you even mention race, especially if you're using it in a disparaging way. You probably can't. And Jim's Narcissus certainly ain't clever enough to navigate that line safely. So you keep race out your fucking mouth about it's not racist if you do it to everybody. No, that just shows you are an equal opportunities racist, and you are a bigot. You are a complete bigot. Some people, they have their specific race that they hate. It's not great. It's not good. It's still racist. It's not any less racist. Some people are bigots to everybody. It's not good. It's still racist. It's not any less racist just because you're racist towards everybody. And you, Narcissus, profit from. I have to keep bringing this back. You have occupied a privileged space in Black culture for the past 10 years. But yeah, shout out Battle Rap Trap. Yes, I don't know what it was, but yeah, that is definitely what he said. I'll keep up with any comments now, see what anyone is saying. And but yeah, I'm not gonna stay here for much longer because I am now done in. I need to go and eat. But he does, that's called white supremacy and the deepness of white privilege. Oh, I wish I know what I said there. And this is like, there's so much within just in his reactions. It is out the white supremacy playbook. It is how you act when you occupy a space of white supremacy, when you occupy a space of privilege, or when you want to at least act like you occupy that space. This is how you act. oh, it's just a joke. Like, it was just a joke. And I was depressed at the time and going through a lot. And it's really fucking hard for me to say this stuff and to acknowledge, you know how hard it is for me to call myself a little bitch? Not as hard as it was for you to compare a Black child to a non-human, a beautiful Black baby. It wasn't that hard. Then you go from that to anger, to outrage, to disgust, to then further insulting the very people who you have hurt. Like, white supremacy 101, rude boy. Like, and you don't even know it. You don't even know it. You sit up there in your sanctimonious space, like you don't even know it. This is how little you understand about the Black experience, Jimz, that you cannot see. You are reading from the white supremacy handbook. Like King, what are their names? Trying to think of some famous white racists. Like Tucker Carlson could have given you this. Like the Proud Boys. Like you could have gone to a Proud Boys meeting and they would have told you, hey, this is what you do. Like you could have gone to a Klan rally and everyone at the Klan rally would have given you the steps. So no, there's some steps. So what? Oh, you said some racist shit. We've all done it. We've all done it. We've all done it. Here's what you do and here's how you get out of it. Right? You don't, doesn't even see it. Doesn't even see it. It's mad. It's mad. Everyone should unsubscribe from his channel and his following should decrease dramatically. He does not deserve to profit from our culture any longer. And I feel like some reparations, like not to throw that word around loosely or flippantly, but how much has Jimz, like, is Jimz still profiting whilst putting out those videos? Has he profited from those? Because if you have, then I feel like whatever money you have made, and probably whatever money you've made, full stop, you're talking about you're living this good life, you're doing this, you're making money, you put that money back. Show us how sorry you are. You've profited from the people that you spent years shitting on. Say it with your wallet. Say it with your wallet. You want to say, make a contribution. Do you know how many beautiful Black babies could do with a contribution? Do you know how many Black charities there are? Do you know how many Black women's charities? You specifically went on a tirade against Black women. Do you know how underfunded Black women are in so many areas of society in the United States? Do you know how valuable a contribution you could make if you're really that sorry? If that video is monetized, it's currently at, where is it? It was at like 17,000 views or something. I don't know how many tens of thousands of views the other one would have got, because there's a lot of people in this culture who wanted to hear what you had to say. Okay, that one's on 11,000 views. I don't know how many the views the other one racked up. Man, this is it. You could give back to some organizations. You could give back if you're really sorry. You know, if you were monetizing that video, put it back into the people who you have harmed, who you have caused harm to. Show, yeah, I'm not even trying. I'm not on the let's rehabilitate Jimz. I'm on the let's get him out of it. If he wants to rehabilitate in his own time, on his own recognizance, that's up to him. That's not up to, like, it's not down to Black people to rehabilitate you. You've been here 10 years eating off of Black businesses. You've been here supported by Black people. If you didn't have the human empathy to understand by this time, and I'm not talking about the 10 years ago, that was bad enough. You haven't scrubbed that. You haven't got rid of that. You let that stay out. You let that hate and venom exist on the internet where we know everything exists forever. Like, you let that stay and you only deleted it when you were caught and found out. But you came back and said, these are jokes. This is how we know Jimz does not have the understanding to deserve to be here, to be safe, to allow, like, who wants that? Who wants that? He came out with jokes. Then he did the soft sell apology where he basically didn't apologize and made himself a victim. Then he deleted that and came back and said, fuck you niggas. Like, and you got people in the comments that are like, yo, yay, way to go, Jimz. Come on, like, it's not anybody's responsibility to rehabilitate that grown man. He can do that by himself if he so chooses, because a lot of people don't want to be rehabilitated. If you can't see it after this time, then this is up to him. Yeah, he does not deserve to be here. This is it. I'm not on the side of hoping he changes. I don't care for him, and I hope his brand crumbles. Yes, hit that like button and make sure this video is in the algorithm, because that man clearly needs educating. Yeah, appreciate that, and appreciate you, Plug, definitely. And that's the thing. We don't understand how valuable being in our space is. This is it, Nikki. This is it, right? And as a white presenting, I don't care where Jimz, as a white presenting, wannabe passing Puerto Rican Greek man, he occupies a place of privilege whilst having no understanding of that or the culture or the pain that the culture he profits from experiences and has experienced at the hands of white supremacy for hundreds of years. And that's a fucking problem. On that note, I'm going to leave out on here, but yeah, I doubt this. Yeah, who knows where this goes, but I'm on the let's get him gone. Let's get him gone. This is it. This is it. Sheesh, for real.